basically we know that you started as Suade in 1998, right? So that was like you met up for Les May's performance.
That was more
yeah, I was doing a performance of Les Mis with some school friends and some students as well, and I had a bit of spare time on the side, so we all got together and sung a bit of barbershop and a bit of stuff, and it all sort of snowballed from there. People kept asking us to sing for some reason, so
okay.
kept having to learn new songs.
Ah, okay. So Chris, you're the only one from that from '98.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
There were different incarnations. There was different incarnations, but my brother Loz joined, sort of came in next. But he was also there in the start bits. Some of the dodgy performances we did at school and stuff. He was there as well.
Okay. So before that, you had been performing all the while.
Sure. Loz and I sung in a group called the Vocal Consort, which is a classical ensemble. And we toured America a couple of times and had a blast with that. It was very, very formal tuxedos and holding music and singing sacred music and stuff that yeah, I guess it didn't relate to us as much as a lot of our own original songs and pop, fun pop stuff. So,
what's more, we kept on getting into trouble for stuffing around too much on stage and having too much fun. And the guy who ran the ensemble would keep on, telling us off after the shows, but audience members were coming up and going, "You guys were fantastic, I would have gone to sleep if it wasn't for watching you guys." So that's, I guess, why we really wanted to put our own group together, so that we could have fun on stage and not get told off for it, I guess, and people seem to love it,
The problem with running your own group, when you like breaking rules, is that, when there are no rules, there's nothing to break, so it's not that fun anymore. So sometimes we have to make silly rules just so that we can break them.
I see that most, maybe Luke and Rob, you make from a different genre, right? Okay, it's a different type of singing before you came into Suade.
Yeah.
So how was it to balance? I mean, from your point of view, and from your point of view, how did you choose at the same time try to get them into this concept?
I was just desperate for singers, and there was no one good around, so we just had to go with this. I'm lying there. Just as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, well, I'm the newest member in the room. I only joined Suade beginning of last year. It was a huge change for me. I've done lots of a cappella singing, lots of choir singing as well, but never in a sort of more contemporary style, which is what we sort of do a lot of in Suade, and certainly not as crazy on stage as well. When I say crazy, I mean that in the best possible sense. Yeah, like Chris was saying, a lot of the choral stuff you do, there are rules you have to abide by. You have to stand in formation and do your thing as directed by the guy up the top, the conductor guy. But yeah, it was really hard for me to adapt into that mould of having that freedom on stage. I think I can enjoy it. For the singing part, not so much, but certainly in the stage elements and being more comfortable being free on stage was a huge thing for me.
There's been like a series of small breakthroughs, I think, for Luke that we got to watch. Like he does a Kylie Minogue song. He does the Kylie Minogue part, right? So he has to do some girly moves and things like this. And I remember rehearsing in front of the mirrors at our rehearsal studio and just saying, "All right, now turn around and look over your shoulder at the audience and kind of spank yourself on the butt a bit." And he's like, "What? Serious?" And we just said, "Trust us, just do it, man, just do it."
This is on my second rehearsal.
And then, but the breakthrough came when he came on stage, and he turned around and he was a little bit nervous, and he sort of started spanking himself on the butt, and the audience just went, "Yeah!" And then he started spanking a bit harder, and they went, "Yeah!" And then he was like, "Woo, yeah, bring it on!" So there's been all these little.
He's been spanking ever since.
Wow. Yeah. So why a cappella? I mean, you had choices, right? So, but why was it a cappella?
For starters, because we're lazy and we didn't want to carry guitar amps and drums. And
I used to be a drummer. It took me 45 minutes to unload my drums, set them up, and And then at the end of the night, when you wanted to be drinking beer, you had to pack them up and put them back in the car and then drive them home. Whereas with a cappella, you turn up, click, all right.
So you were a drummer before?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, there's also something really special about voices in harmony, and I think anyone who's been involved in the festival over the last week, you know, there's just something really special about voices in harmony. Voices can do things that no other instrument can do. They're the most versatile instrument on the planet, and it's really fun exploring the limits of that. So.
Yeah.
Like, can your instrument do this? Can't do it.
Yeah. No instrument can do that. So since you're talking about voices, right? Okay, if there is an explanation that you can give to a layman about what is tenor or countertenor or baritone, how will you do that?
Oh, sorry, I don't quite understand.
Okay.
So
What's the difference between a bass?
Oh, right, okay. Look, it really comes down to the sort of notes that you can sing, what ranges you can sing. And that can depend on the person as well. So if you're a really old man, maybe you've got like a really low voice. When you're a really young child, you've got like that little voice that might sound a bit like a girl. You've got that la 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 la. And then when you go through your puberty and certain things happen to some people, and then your voice might have a little stage where you're going, and you've got the highs and the lows, and then you might end up in a certain place. There's classical terms that can sort of equal that. When I studied classical music at university, I was an opera singer, and I trained to be in the sort of, maybe there's, like, you could pretty much say there's 4 different ranges, and I was in the second lowest. Which is baritones. You've got bass, baritone, tenor, and countertenor for guys. And I was trained as a baritone, and then I come into this group, and it's just a different way of singing. It's really unexpected things happen on stage. The song might stop, the song might start again because we want to crack a joke in the middle of it. And I just found that I was able to sing in a different range. So it's really just, you've got 4 different sections, and some, like, there's crossovers as well. It's not you're definitely a bass, you're definitely a tenor. Some people can stretch higher and stretch lower. I just tend to just sing anything that was given to me and just try my best.
So the interesting thing about a human voice is that the ability to sing low relies on a really big larynx, but the people who can sing the lowest can generally also sing the highest. So we're really lucky in this group that we're all essentially baritones, and we've got very versatile voices that we can all switch around.
Lukey sings countertenor for us, which is like the girly parts. Get your highest note.
Okay.
So
That's high.
he can break a few glasses here, but he can also, if we need him to, he can also take bass for a couple of bars. Yeah. So. Yeah, so we've all got very versatile voices, I think, in this group.
Yeah, I've seen that in your performance. Don't worry, be happy. Yeah, I've seen how you have done all the different voices here. Yeah. So, vocaltronics. Is that the correct term? Vocaltronics, right? So, tell me about vocaltronics. It's quite interesting. Was that like a concept that was available before that, or was it your creation?
It came from our very specific needs, which were that, for starters, we like to use loop machines so that we can create extra percussion parts. And after using loop pedals for a while, we lost a member who was our bass. So we thought about spending time retraining a new bass and going through that process, and we thought, well, let's try something different. So we set up a system whereby all 4 of us can sing any part, and once we sing something once, we can loop it and play it back later in the song. And we can do that with all 4 microphones at once and put effects on all those voices. So it was a very particular need that we were trying to fill. So we have really kind of shoehorned our needs into the technology and out of the technology to create what's become vocaltronics.
It's almost like cutting and pasting. Like when we like, I might sing a line that it copies that and then pastes it 3 or 4 or 10 times throughout the rest of the song, and that can happen to any microphone at any time. So you start off the song with just 4 voices, but you might end up with 40 at the end. It's pretty out there. Yeah.
So which means that the control is in the microphone itself, so you decide on when you want that particular recording to come out? Or?
No, we kind of play with that perception a little bit, like we might pretend that we've got some buttons on our microphones, but the way that we actually do it, because there's so, like we used to do it manually with pedals and things like that, and you see a lot of groups and solo artists using a lot of looping on pedals and things, but there's no way, like once you start getting 15, 20 different loops that start and stop at different times in the song, and you know, you might go from a verse where you've got 10 different loops going to a chorus where you've got 8 other different loops going. You'd have to stop all of those ones and start all of these ones and then do all these effects and all that sort of thing.
And if one person accidentally presses it a little bit later than the other, you've got, it can all get out of control and completely out of hand.
So what we do is we pre-program all of the looping and the effects on the voices. So we have in-ear monitors, so we get a quick track that tells us where we are in the song.
Okay, yeah,
and then we sing over the top of that. So it's much more difficult than than standard a cappella, because if you get it wrong, when you're doing the copy part, then every time it pastes, the wrong thing comes in there.
So it also means that, like, for all of us, if we all had pedals on the stage, we could we can all only press 1 or maybe 2 pedals at once to go record, plus also making bass. And you want to do record and that. Whereas instead when we've got 1 click happening on the computer, it can actually do 10, 20, 30, 40 different things exactly on that click in exact perfect timing for us. So we don't have to go, oh crap, oh no, I didn't quite press on the beat.
Body slam the pedal board.
Yeah, we had to automate everything because we just want to do more than we could do manually. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And no one else is, to the best of our knowledge, no one else is doing it either. There's a group called Fork somewhere in Finland or something like that, that they do multi-microphone looping as well, but they've got to go doing this. And we just sort of thought, well, we want to do more than that. We want to do more than you can do with 2 feet and 2 hands. So yeah, we've automated it and gone even further. So yeah.
Okay, this is something that I really wanted to ask. Who's the master of choreography in your team?
That has been made. My extensive background in classical ballet and as well as contemporary dance. No, look, we're just a bunch of idiots who like having a good time. We've had a couple of specialists come in over the years to help us with little bits and pieces. And I think then we learned, well, it's not the moves that are important, it's how you do them and how much energy you put in. So now we rehearse with mirrors so that we can always see ourselves, and yeah, it just springs from there.
When it comes to the K-pop stuff, I usually put my hand up and volunteer to watch those girl band videos 1,000 times and work out exactly what they're doing, you know, with their amazing bodies.
We see in Asia a lot when a song's played at a club, like everyone knows the moves, and so we try and take a song and look for those moves that everybody knows, and so that we can do them and make everyone feel really included with our music. But yeah, we don't do anything particularly difficult,
and we don't do it very well. Yeah, so. But that's part of the fun.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially Los. Who was that you lifted up for the moonwalk?
Sounding like a really big stuff.
That's good. It was just nice.
Yeah, and they all spring from just ideas that we have in rehearsals. I mean, because we don't have that choreographer that's going to come in and go, oh, yeah, I just go, oh, hang on, how about let's do some crappy Michael Jackson moves. You stand in front of Loz, just pick him up and just pretend to just walk backwards and pretend to do the moonwalk. Like, why not? It just comes from stupid ideas, and if you just try them, who knows, they might be fun.
I mean, that caught my attention anyway.
I think often a cappella music or choral music is used as an excuse, like, oh, we're singing a cappella so we don't have to entertain people. We never get paid to sing a cappella, we get paid to entertain people. So we very much have a focus on that. We're not trying to say, come and listen to us and compare us to other a cappella groups. We're saying, come and see us and compare us to anything else you've ever seen, because we're going to entertain the pants off you. And that's kind of the mantra of our group, and that's how we approach our dance moves.
Okay, before going to the last question, right? Okay, I just want to ask you, I mean, because you do conduct classes back in Aussie, right? Yeah. So how it is easy, and is that one of your aims to to bring the children into exposing them, or
we
how you
try
see
not
that?
to expose ourselves to children. That's frowned upon generally. No, my brother Chris runs. Sorry, my brother Chris runs an organisation called Vocal Australia, and the pure idea of Vocal Australia is to develop a cappella among young singers, older singers, anybody who wants to get into it. But we certainly do a lot of school workshops where we, get the kids involved, show them that it's not that hard to put an a cappella group together and have a heap of fun doing it. But yeah, you're probably best off answering this one.
Yeah, I think for us, just offering.
Hang on a tick, just. Start again.
Just to make sure that we're offering support and performance opportunities, educational opportunities, and resources too. Young groups, like we're singing with a group tonight who's using one of our arrangements. Now, arranging in a cappella can often be, what stops people moving forward, because you need a bit more knowledge about music theory to make it happen. So sharing that and sharing that with other groups and just watching them enjoy it, and watching someone else take your arrangement and turn it into something completely different is really, really nice to watch.
We do everything we can to give whatever we can to other groups. We don't hold secrets or anything like that. We just want to see other people singing and having fun. So that's certainly a really important thing for us. Yeah.
So this Vocal Australia is all around Australia, right? It's for the entire continent.
Chris spends at least 2 days a week and almost goes full time, unpaid, just to promote and develop the art form, just because we love it.
Yeah, I can see the passion there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what you'd like to tell fans from Singapore about this entire thing? I mean, your visit. This is not your first visit, right? You have done before.
That's right. Yeah. This is our third visit to Singapore. We've always been made to feel very, very welcome here, and we've done a number of different things here, from singing at festivals to working with school kids, both in the international schools and in a couple of universities and a Singaporean high school. We like the Singaporean character really comes out when we work with other groups. Like there's no resistance. If you tell these guys, hey, have a go at this, bang, they have a go at it, and there's no barrier. In Australia, sometimes we tell people, hey, get out and perform this a bit more, and they get all shy and all that sort of thing. Whereas in Singapore, I think if we tell someone, really let go on this note, they'll just do it, and so that's really refreshing. I have some family here as well, so it's always wonderful to come and see those guys. And
I think to add on that thing you just said is, what I want to say to Singapore is thank you so much. We're very lucky to be staying in Serengeti Gardens, and we can go and have stingray and sugarcane juice at Chom Chom. And we absolutely love it, so that's what I want to add.
That is an important reason why we keep coming back. Is Chom Chom.
And people seem to, something about Singapore, as soon as people find out that we're singers, they start saying la to us in every sentence just to make us feel at home, and so that's really nice as well that they would do that. So
I've noticed that la.
Yeah, it's really nice,
Nobody but you. Nobody but you.
How could it be with another? I don't want any other. Nobody but you. I want nobody but you. How could it be with another? I don't want any other. Nobody.
Fantastic. Okay, thanks.